I'm Whitney Pauley, Senior Mortgage Advisor with Movement Mortgage. I am joined here today with Mackenzie Sorich of View Ridge Family Law and Estate Planning. Welcome, Mackenzie.
Hi, Whitney. Thank you for having me here today.
Let's begin by talking about real estate in a divorce situation. Mackenzie, Washington is a community property state. So what exactly does that mean for real estate holdings within a divorce situation?
So let's talk about that first question regarding community property and real estate in Washington. Washington's a community property state, as you mentioned. That means anything that's earned or acquired during the time of marriage is going to be jointly owned by both spouses, but there are a few exceptions to that rule. When real estate is community property, doesn't matter whose name is on the title, it all has to come before the court and be divided up in a way that's fair and equitable. Now, that doesn't necessarily mean dividing each individual piece of property or real estate holding, but we do need to divide the overall estate in a way that's fair. And that means negotiating and, if necessary, going to court to decide how to do so.
Thank you for that answer. So in my experience as a mortgage lender, most real estate has a mortgage or a lien associated with it. Can you go into detail or explain to us how that would make the divorce process more difficult?
Yes, so most people do have a mortgage on their family home, and that means we need to negotiate how we're going to assign that debt. Every debt has to be assigned when it comes to a divorce. Sometimes we can be creative by working with mortgage professionals like you to help one of the spouses stay in the family home and reorganize that mortgage in one way or another. When we're unable to do that, we have to go to trial, and sometimes that can mean forced sale if people are unable to figure out a way to refinance or otherwise handle a mortgage on their own.
Got it. So what are some of the tax implications that people need to be aware of when they're going through this process?
Often we negotiate over the mortgage interest deduction and talk about who is going to be allowed to take that deduction, particularly if one spouse is going to remain in the family home and they're going to go on sharing that mortgage obligation in one way or another. We also need to think about capital gains tax in the case that the property is going to be sold in the near future. And then finally, there's also the excise tax on real property. There are some exceptions in Washington that may excuse that tax, but we want to make sure that we're checking all the right boxes and preparing both people for these tax considerations.
Thank you, Mackenzie. So as we've learned today, having real estate holdings can complicate the process. Making sure that you have your team in place, your attorney, your financial planner, your real estate and mortgage professionals is going to make this process so much more smooth. If you have any questions or if you need any help at all, please do not hesitate to reach out.